fam? Welcome back to another episode. Today's episode is going to be about self abandonment. Let that sink in for a minute because I know that is a big topic that's been coming up the last few days. But hi, how are you? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're coming back, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you so much. But yeah, this is the podcast, YouTube, whatever you want to call it, where we talk about all the things: healing, growth, experiences. We talk about the real. It's raw and vulnerable. And I don't edit any of these. So, fun fact, you just get all the things, including the ambient background music that we have today. Oh, Lord. So, self abandonment, guys. Hot topic recently. I have a friend that fell into my life a couple weeks ago, and it has just been such a beautiful, beautiful relationship that's been cultivated in such a short amount of time, and very otherworldly, very soul recognition, very just can't explain a lot of what happens, but it's fucking rad as shit. And he said something to me the other day when I was in the depths of my emotions because I was having some feels. Fun fact. And he said, we heal alone. We do a lot of healing alone, but we grow together. And I was like, oh, that hits. Because your girl has done a lot of healing, a lot of healing. And I've done most of it on my own. I've had friends, I've had mirrors, nothing like the mirror that showed up a couple weeks ago. That's for sure. Wild. And when you have that mirror that just also can just stand their ground while you are in a shitstorm of emotions, like, holy fuck, man. I just so grateful for all the work that I've done and that this person matches where I am. Like, it's proven everything that I thought wasn't possible. It's proven that wrong. It is possible. Yeah. I was like, I'm a magical unicorn with a lot of emotions. I don't know who is ever going to match me. And the universe was like, bet, honey. Bet, sit back and watch. And I was like, okay. Here we are. And I was in the throes of emotions the last few days, and just, him and I have been passing the baton back and forth, and the things that we've been able to help each other through has been absolutely fucking amazing. And self abandonment was a hot topic that's been coming up, especially for me. And this really truly came up because of my nursing career. And I had been having visions the last week or so, very vivid visions of me being back at the bedside. And for those of you that may or not know, I'm a nurse by trade. I've been a nurse for over 9 years. I've been in the medical field for over 15, which is kind of wild. I started in the medical field when I was 17. I am going on 34 this year. So that's fucking, you don't hear that every day. But I, started my nursing career in the ER, and, a year and a half, 2 years in, we get hit with COVID. And so I was on the front lines when COVID started, and I've had a lot to heal around nursing. And I really thought when I left my last nursing job, which is really easy peasy infusion nursing, how do I want to say that? Infusion nursing? There we go. I did infusions for GI patients in Denver, Colorado, and it was a really just beautiful, rad healing experience for me. And I thought when I left that in December of 2024, I was like, oh, I'm done. Like, this feels complete. And it's tried to walk back in a couple of times in various different ways. And I didn't understand like what that really truly looked like or meant. And so I had these visions, my instant thought is like, oh, I don't want to go back to the bedside. Oh, that was fucking terrible. Ugh. But I'm like, wow, how cool would it be to go back, right? This is the perspective flip. How cool would it be to go back and use all the skills and knowledge and wisdom that I've obtained, and the fact that my hands can literally heal people? How fucking cool would that be if I could go back and heal people in the ER? Like, I wish I had these skills back then, hindsight 2020. Everything happens for a reason. But it is so freaking cool, right? Like, I've been on my external nursing journey. I've been on my internal, personal, healed 4 autoimmune diseases journey. And like, all of it has served so much. But guys, fun fact, I didn't know how to take care of myself as a nurse. Most nurses don't know how to take care of themselves. We're really good at taking care of other people because that is how we desire to be taken care of. But we don't know how to take care of ourselves a lot of times. And it's not something they teach you in school. It is a learned practice. Also, if you're a nurse and you're looking to transition, I do offer one-on-one journeys. Or if you're just transitioning in general in career, love, whatever, all the things, I offer one-on-one journeys. It's linked on over in my bio. I would love to connect with you. Also, feel free to message me on social media at Lynn Shelto on all platforms. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all the things. Just going to plug that there. Anywho, I self-abandoned a lot as a nurse. Yeah, sticky. And I also didn't feel like I had the support that I hoped and wished that I had. And it's funny because I always joke, like, I wore the pants in my relationship. I worked full time, I worked overtime, all the things. And, you know, I'm no longer in that relationship for the better, right? But I learned so much in the process of that whole journey of being a nurse and not having the support and learning how to love myself and learning how to commit to myself and all these things. But my immediate thought that was tied to nursing was like, ooh, I don't want to go back there because that was awful. And yeah, there was a lot there. There was a lot there. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of resentment. I had a lot of frustration. And I'm like, man, that version of me went through so much. She was in the trenches. And I said last night, I was like, man, I loved that version of me. I still love that version of me. She was such a badass. But I also realized I don't have to be that strong anymore. I don't have to self-abandon my own needs for everybody else. And that is a boundary that I have set for just in general on this journey, because I used to just abandon myself left and right. I didn't know. I would go, fun fact, a little fun fact. I love fun facts, right? I would go work a 12-hour shift, overnight shift in the ER at a level 1 trauma center. For those of you that know, there's 3 different levels. Level 1 is the worst of the worst. I would go work a 12-hour overnight shift. I had an hour drive in, an hour drive out. Call it a 14-hour day. I would get home. I would make some food. I would rip a whole bong and I would go to bed. And I had no healthy outlet to put all that energy that I just absorbed in the last 12 plus hours. My then husband shut me down a lot of times, saying, I'd go to tell him like all the things that were happening, right? Because there's so much action in an overnight ER shift. And he's like, you're getting riled up, just go to bed. So I suppressed so much. Didn't necessarily have the support. And I didn't journal back then. I wasn't doing any of this. I wasn't doing voice notes. Man, if I had the tools back then that I had now, whew, wild. And I realized, I self-abandoned so much. And that is something that I have been working with recently, is not self-abandoning the way that I used to, right? And not that I do it anymore, but it's just still, there was a little program still running back there that was like, hey, I don't want to go back to that because that is just terrible. I don't want to feel like that again. And it's like, yeah, but I also like wouldn't abandon myself like that anymore because I have boundaries now and I know how to take care of myself and I have more support now than I did then. And I know how to support myself now rather than how I did then. There's so many different factors that go in. But I realized that nursing was tied to self-abandonment. And so whether or not I go back to nursing, that's not the point. The point is taking the knowledge and wisdom from that version of me and allowing that to carry forward, because she endured a lot, but she gained so much knowledge and so much wisdom from all that time. I love the fact that I'm a nurse. I think it's so cool. I can take it with me the rest of my life. Most of my ER skills outside of like meds and things like that, right? Like those skills never go away. I can literally take them anywhere. I can take them on an airplane. I can take them out into the middle of the woods. I can literally take them to the grocery store. I can take them anywhere. And that is so freaking cool. And the way my brain is hardwired to critically think in different ways and in systems and all these things, like there's certain things that I just made. I'm like, wow, that's so freaking cool. Shit that they don't teach in school, but you learn on the job, So yeah, self-abandonment has been a big topic recently. And not even just in my nursing career, but in relationships. I abandoned myself time and time and time again in relationships. And that came up recently where, I'm going to meet a friend in a couple weeks, and we were talking about things, and I had a lot of fear come up because anytime I had, gone to visit a guy friend, boyfriend, whatever you want to call it, it would always end sour. And that fear came up and I was like, oh my God. But I realized it was because I was self-abandoning myself every time. I wasn't listening to my intuition when my intuition said, enough's enough, it's time to go. I overrode that every single time. And it always got me in sticky situations because I was self-abandoning and not trusting in myself. And that's been a huge part of this coming home journey, has been trusting in myself, trusting in my intuition, and loving on myself even when it's not easy. Because there's going to be those times too. But to not self-abandon in a relationship, to be able to stand steady, to be able to be independent, to be able to still be myself, not lose myself in the connection, oh, man, it's wild. And I don't want to say that there's any one thing that I did that like started my journey. It literally was just time and time again of like, okay, like I'm going to choose myself. I'm going to love myself. I'm going to set boundaries. I'm going to do this for me and no one else. That is how you support yourself. That is how you take care of yourself. That is how you commit. When you commit to yourself, man, it is just chef's kiss. Because when you commit to yourself and you learn, you build trust with yourself. You learn that when you make a promise and you hold it, next time gets easier. Next time gets easier to trust your intuition when something comes up. Something I would have wished I would have learned a little sooner, but it all happened in divine timing. So love on yourself, trust in yourself, and don't abandon yourself. No matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone does, do not abandon yourself, because that's literally like probably the worst thing you can do for your inner child who just wants to feel safe, who just wants to feel loved, who just wants a safe place to call home, if you will. And when you self-abandon and you go outside of yourself for things, that's when you lose your way. I know I lost mine for a long time because I was looking for stuff in external people that really I was looking for in myself, but I couldn't find it. So I looked externally. And I abandoned myself every time, and I learned a lot in that process. And I truly believe that through all these experiences, you know, in gaining all this wisdom and this knowledge, like it's been such a beautiful freaking journey, guys. I can't tell you how beautiful it's been. And now that I have this mirror that's like, oh, I don't have to abandon myself. Oh, I can still do that and still be loved and not have to choose. 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock as I said that. I don't have to choose one or the other. You don't have to sacrifice your needs and yourself for anybody else. In fact, if you're a nurse, take care of yourself. Wake up and give yourself half hour to an hour every single day before you go and take care of the world. Take care of yourself. Honestly, that's for anybody, not just nurses. Nurses more heavily, but that's for anybody. If you're a mom, dad, whatever, whoever you are watching this, girlfriend, boyfriend, fiance, whatever, confirmation, give yourself time every single morning to take care of you before you go take care of the rest of the world. Because when you can pour into your own cup and fill your own cup up, life changes drastically. And when you continue to choose yourself over and over and over again, that builds trust within yourself. So that not only you're making the small decisions, but when you go to make those big decisions, you can trust yourself. You can trust where you're being led. And you know, because you trust yourself, that you're not going to self-abandon yourself. We love a little burp confirmation. So yeah, that's been my journey. And it's come up a lot the past couple of days. And I really, truly thought it was like, what about, and you know, guys, it's all about perspective shift too. As my friend said, you can look through a telescope, right? You can look through the big lens, right? And you'll see the little side. But what if you look through the little side and you see the sky open up? It's all about shifting your perspective. And I was looking at nursing from this very one-sided lens, big to small, if you will, of no, it's going to probably be horrible again because that's what happened last time. Okay, but what if it wasn't about me going back to the bedside at all? What if it was about taking what I've learned and not abandoning that version of me, not burying her, you know, and leaving her where she is, but being able to take the wisdom and knowledge forward? Because a lot of times that's all they want. It's, you know, You don't want to tell them to go kick rocks, right? Because they got you. That version of me that went through all that got me to where I am now. That is part of the identity shift. That is part of just shifting old identities that don't serve you any longer. But there are so many valuable things that come with an identity shift. I'll make more videos on this because I feel like this is really the big topics I've been called to talk about recently is these identity shifts. And it's a huge part of the work that I am meant to do and help people through. Aside from my music and all these other creative endeavors that I have, shifting identities is huge, guys. And you don't have to do it alone. That's why I offer one-on-one journey support. So, like I said, feel free to go check that out. It's a specialty of mine. Honestly, I can't tell you how many identities I have shifted and shed through so many different parts of my life, be it divorce and marriage and nursing school and work and just so many different things. And I just want you to know that you're never alone. And I really hope that you don't self-abandon yourself in the process of shifting. And so just know that if you're shifting and moving and grooving and all the things, it gets easier in time. And when you commit to yourself and you love yourself, the decisions get easier to make. At least that's my personal opinion. And man, it wasn't all about me going back to the bedside and nursing. It literally was just, hey, like, don't just discard me. Like, love on me a little bit and like take all these beautiful gifts that we've gathered along the way. Because that is what is meant to be shared. That is what is meant to go forward. The pain and everything, that's gotta flow. That's gotta flow and go. Send it off with love, as I always say. But the wisdom and the knowledge that I gained along that journey, man, is so freaking cool. And I'm so glad that I get to share it with y'all. So, with all that being said, give yourself some extra love today. Make a small choice and stick to it. And don't self abandon yourself. Because truthfully, it doesn't get you anywhere anyway. What a beautiful journey we're on. I love this so much. All right, fam. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever you feel called to. And I'm sending you off with so much love. And I'll see you on the next one. Love you.